Hi, history buffs! Welcome again to our channel where we talk about cool events from long ago. Today, we're going on a trip to South India to learn about the Vijayanagara Empire. This was a big part of the history there. It was around from the 1300s to the 1600s and changed a lot about South India's culture, government, and buildings. The Vijayanagara Empire was known for fancy and important. It was a hot spot for big changes in art, culture, and trade. Even now, we can see how it has made South India what it is today. Today, we'll learn about how this empire rose to power, how it ruled, and how it eventually fell. We'll find out about the interesting stories and important people that were a part of it. Dig deep into this time in history, from the start of the empire to its cultural impact and the problems that caused it to fall apart. So get ready as we dive into the exciting story of the Vijayanagara Empire. Our story starts in 1336 when the Vijayanagara Empire was created. During this time, the once strong Delhi Sultanate was losing control of South India. This created an opening for new leaders to step in. Two brothers, Harihara and Bukka, seized this chance. They were born into the Sangama family and were determined to fight against the armies invading their land. They saw a chance to build a powerful city that could defend against these invasions. The city of Vijayanagara, or City of Victory, was built in a fertile area between the Tungabhadra and Krishna rivers. This was a smart choice, as the rugged hills and bodies of water around it offered natural protection. But the brothers didn't just build a city. They knew that having a good system to run their large territories was important too. They divided the empire into smaller areas, each led by a trusted leader. This way of governing made running the empire easier and built loyalty among the leaders, making the empire stronger. Vijayanagara was more than just a political move. It was also a way to show their strong Hindu beliefs at a time when Islam was gaining more followers in the area. They built the city to show this, with large temples and amazing buildings that displayed the beauty of Hindu culture. One such building was the Virupaksha temple, dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva, which still stands today as proof of their great building skills and deep faith. In the years that followed, Vijayanagara became more powerful and famous, drawing scholars, artists, and traders from all over the world. But all this started with Harihara and Bukka, whose smart thinking and hard work created one of the most important empires in South India's history. And so, the stage was set for an empire that would make a lasting impact on South India. The Vijayanagara Empire had some amazing leaders, like Krishnadevaraya. His itself stands for greatness. He was the most powerful leader of the Vijayanagara Empire, ruling from 1509 to 1529. Under his leadership, the empire became really successful, famous for its art, culture, and architecture. Krishnadevaraya was not just a great fighter, but he also supported literature, and his court was visited by the Ashtadigajas, 8 famous poets of Telugu literature. Their writings, supported by the king, added a lot to the empire's culture. But the Vijayanagara Empire wasn't just about arts and literature. It was also known for its amazing architecture. The credit for this goes to Krishnadevaraya, who built many temples, monuments, and public places. Famous Vitala temple in Hampi, with its detailed sculptures and the famous stone chariot, shows the architectural skills of the empire. Now let's talk about trading. The Vijayanagara Empire was really important in the worldwide trade network. The empire's location on the Deccan Plateau helped it control both coasts of the Indian subcontinent. This allowed it to trade with far-off lands, leading to an era of economic growth. The markets of Vijayanagara were known for being lively, selling everything from gemstones to horses. The rule of Krishnadevaraya and other important leaders like Harihara I and Devaraya II was a golden time for the Vijayanagara Empire. Their contributions to art, culture, architecture, and trading shaped the empire and left a lasting mark on the history of South India. Under these leaders, the Vijayanagara Empire became a symbol of wealth and culture. Even though this empire ended after the Battle of Talikota, it's still a big part of Indian history, reminding us of a time filled with greatness, wealth, and cultural richness. The Vijayanagara Empire was more than just a kingdom. It was a home for culture and art. This is what we understand when we look at the cultural history of this great empire. At its peak, the Vijayanagara Empire was a place where art and culture prospered. Its leaders, who loved arts and literature, created a lively cultural environment. This environment gave rise to lots of literary works in languages like Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, and Sanskrit. Music, dance and drama were highly appreciated, with performances often taking in the royal courts. The empire's cultural achievements were also seen in its amazing architecture. The ruins of Hampi, the empire's capital, show us its architectural brilliance. Here, we can see a mix of different architectural styles, influenced by both Hindu and Islamic cultures. The famous stone chariot, the grand Virupaksha temple, and the impressive Vitala temple complex all show the architectural skills of the Vijayanagara artisans. The Vijayanagara style of architecture, known for detailed carvings, complex patterns, and huge pillars, continues to amaze us. This style not only limited to temples, but also included other structures like markets, baths, and royal areas. But the Vijayanagara Empire's influence was not only in architecture. It had a lasting impact on South Indian culture as a whole. The empire, a place where different traditions, customs, and practices came together, which then became part of the wider culture. This blend of cultures gave birth to unique forms of music, dance, and art, many of which are still alive in South India today. So, the Vijayanagara Empire was not just a kingdom. It was a lively cultural center that enriched the culture of South India. This cultural history, seen in its literature, arts, architecture, and traditions, is what makes the Vijayanagara Empire truly special. The leftover pieces of this cultural history continue to amaze us even today. Sounds of the past can be heard in the present, reminding us of a time when culture and art prospered under the Vijayanagara leaders. But no kingdom is safe from trouble, and Vijayanagara was no different. Even at its best, the Vijayanagara Empire had many problems. The biggest problem was the constant threats of war from nearby kingdoms. The Deccan Sultanates especially were always causing issues for Vijayanagara. These 5 dynasties, all against the empire, were a big challenge. The Sultanates' attack was a big moment in the empire's story. The Battle of Talikota, fought in the late 1500s, was a big loss for Vijayanagara. The empire's soldiers were defeated, and its famous city, Hampi, was destroyed and left ruined. This huge loss was the start of the end for Vijayanagara. But the empire's downfall wasn't just because of outside attacks. Things happening inside the empire also played a big part. The leaders of Vijayanagara, wanting to show off their power, spent a lot of money on art, buildings, and the military. While these things added to the empire's culture, they also used up a lot of the empire's money. Also, the empire had problems with who would be the next leader and internal fights. As the main power weakened, local rulers started to take control. This split in power weakened the empire more, making it more open to outside attacks. The empire's big trade routes also started to shrink. The changing world trade paths, together with the empire's internal issues, led to less trade. This put more pressure on the empire's money, leading to its downfall. Despite these, the empire managed to last in different forms for about 100 years after the Battle of Talikota. But its power and influence had gone down a lot. By the mid-1600s, the once powerful Vijayanagara Empire had split into many smaller independent kingdoms. Even with its power and success, the Vijayanagara Empire couldn't stop the changes. The Vijayanagara Empire's story shows us how history changes over time. This empire lasted for over 300 years, starting in 1336 and ending in 1646. It made a huge impact on the history of South India. The empire was started because it was needed that time by important people like Harihara and Bukkaraya. They set it up in the Vijayanagara area. This place was chosen not just because it was a good location, but also because it had a lot of resources. This helped the empire become rich and culturally advanced. The empire had many great leaders. One of the best was Krishnadevaraya. He loved art, culture, and architecture. Under his rule, the empire's business and trade became very successful, and Vijayanagara saw a time of great growth and wealth. The Vijayanagara Empire is best for its cultural impact. The beautiful architecture of Hampi and other important places shows the empire's artistic skill. These places, with their detailed designs and big buildings, still amaze us today and have a big influence on South Indian culture. But, like all big empires, Vijayanagara also had its problems. The attack by the Deccan Sultanate was the start of the empire's downfall. Internal problems and attacks from outside led to the end of this once powerful empire. But the Vijayanagara Empire's story is not just about defeat. It's about bouncing back and having a rich culture. Its effect can still be seen in the art, architecture, and cultural customs of South India. The empire's history reminds us of how clever people can be, the problems caused by internal disagreements, and how change is always happening. And so we ask you to learn more about this interesting time in history. Visit the ruins of Hampi, read about the great leaders, and be amazed by a culture that has lasted through time. The Vijayanagara Empire may be gone, but it's not forgotten. Its effect is still seen in South India, in its stones, and in the hearts of the people. We hope you liked learning about the Vijayanagara Empire's history. This big South Indian empire grew and then ended, showing us how people always want to achieve more and how power can keep changing. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button. Your like helps us to keep making more videos about history. Also, to subscribe to our channel. Subscribing means you won't miss any of our new videos. We have lots of exciting things coming up, like videos on other historical times and empires. Sharing is caring. If you think this video might make others interested, please share it with them. Let's enjoy learning about history together. Thanks for watching this video with us. Stay interested and keep finding out more.